Vikings depended heavily on the shield, ducking behind them, using them as a battering ram, and using them as something to whack their weapons across. So the Vikings had special warriors, and one of the warriors was a berserker who would come screaming, swinging his axe around, right at you. Yeah? So he'd come running, right up to you. Yeah, quite scary, big man, probably looking a bit like me, maybe a bit less hair. Screaming, swinging this axe around, scary stuff. On to the next weapon, the short sword. Can swing it, stab with it, get behind your shield, only see my eyes, I can get you. So yeah, the Vikings, where to begin? I mean, over 1,000 years ago, these dudes kind of invaded Britain, took anything they could. They came across in huge Viking longboats. We were talking, good 20 meters long, absolutely massive things. Long sea journeys at the time. Not many people had done big voyages like that. So, kind of the pioneers of travelling by sea. They rocked up first of all in England in a place called Hnefatafl, which a few of them may have been to, and they basically just took everything from the chapel. They came in, thought it was brilliant. There was the people that defended in Britain at the time. They were defending all of their gold in the church, because the church had lots of gold. But obviously it was defended by priests, so the priests had no weapons, no armour, and their defence was to bow down on their knees and pray to God, which the Vikings thought was brilliant, because it was the easiest gold they'd ever come across. Got all the gold, they unfortunately slaughtered everybody there, took the gold back across the sea back to their home, and then the news kind of travelled from there that there was this amazing place where you could basically get all the riches you ever desired, and nobody bothered to defend it. Obviously, later on, they invaded a few different places across Britain, and raided, should I say. So they came in, took a few bits, went off again. It wasn't until a fair while later they decided to start settling. And actually the ones which came across to settle weren't your run-of-the-mill warriors. It was more so to what they were interested in was Britain's farming land and how good it was for planting potatoes and things like that. So a lot of the people that came across were more farmers and traders. Nearby Jorvik, as we know it's called, great massive Viking trading city, I suppose. Greatly used all of the skills that Vikings had for trading, craftsmanship. I mean, they made some absolutely amazing things. Drinking horns, combs. They were really good. I know in my video they're around with a massive big bushy beard. They were actually really good at grooming and cleaning themselves, cleaning their beards, cleaning things like that. So yeah. So to give you an idea of where these guys lived, they used to live in. They were. To you today, it may look like some sort of a shed with a very special roof, but it was normally a one-roomed house. You'd have in the centre of this house your fire, the heart of your house, to cook. and make all the meals for your family. There could be up to 6-7 people all living in this one place. You'd all sleep on beds round the fire. Beds traditionally wouldn't have been very comfortable per se. Bit of straw, nice and comfy straw, but not comfy as what we have today. You might have had a table, certainly some weapons and shields around, and maybe even a place in the corner to make clothing. So a lot of the people were fantastic at making different items of clothing and things. The actual houses on the outside were built of timber, and the fire in the middle heated the whole house. There was a little hole that they used to have in the roof to obviously let the smoke escape, because you wouldn't want it to be too smoky on the inside. But they didn't have windows, and that's a really interesting thing. They didn't have windows because obviously the smoke would escape out of the windows either side. So yeah, obviously they came across, built up these little communities, these little houses. Before you know it, we had towns, cities, big trading ports opening up. And they really, really used the sea and the river to its full advantage to transport things, to send things around. Now, for you guys, for the kids, there was no schools, which some of you will think, great, yeah, no schools. But the children had to work with their fathers on the farm, or making things in the workshop, or helping with the mother around the house, so doing your chores, cleaning, tidying, making different things, baskets, all sorts of things like that. And they did have some toys. They used to have wooden horses, little wooden boats. Boys probably played with lots of swords and spears, and girls traditionally at the time were learning how to cook and how to make clothing. There is a really interesting board game that they used to play. It's very similar to a game of chess. It's called Hnefatafl. It's very funny spelling. It's spelled Hnefatafl. And it's a really good two-player game. I'll put a link somewhere on the video, probably in the description, for a free print and play that you can maybe have a go at home for that. I have one of the board games upstairs. I'll maybe do a little bit of a playthrough of it to show you at some point. But yeah, have a go. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about was obviously at the moment we're spending a lot of time at home, and one thing that I thought would be really good to do through your blogs and through your school communication, your ways of communicating with schools, sending things in by email to your teachers and stuff like that. I thought it'd be really cool if we could maybe start with some home projects that we've made. So me and my son Alex have been making very poorly but some Viking swords and shields and things out in the garden. See if you can make something interesting from history, or see if you can find something out and send it through. I'd really love for people to really get their teeth into this and see if they can find any interesting things out that I don't know. Because again, I always say this when we're in school, and I say it now, I'm definitely no expert on these kinds of things. I really enjoy it. It's interesting. It's good to look up. It's definitely something good to do at the moment when we're stuck in and can't go and visit places of history. There's lots of books, lots of material online that you can really get your teeth into and really find stuff out. So I'll cut back to some more footage and hope to see you all soon. Ta-ta. The shield they've used, there's a person stood next to me, his shield covering us too. The block above, underneath. Really get up against it, nothing gets through here. Yeah, so we've got our shield, nice and trusty, solid. We have our helmet up top, get a few dinks in that, it's fine. And we've got our chainmail. Yeah, and slices aren't going to do anything to this, only a good poke. Voila. So it was just me. Hello. Just a few bits of my gear for Vikings. Shield's not quite authentic, but it's good enough. It would obviously have a bit of leather around here to keep it on, and maybe a leather backing. Sword is sharp, so I have to be careful messing with that. And it has this lovely sheath, like that. Axe. I've actually chopped a tree down with this, so it does work. Chainmail is pretty heavy. It doesn't feel too heavy when you've got it on, but it is pretty heavy. The helmet, you really can't see much out of it. I don't know how this will turn out on camera, but you really can't see much at all coming out. And it's quite hard. You'd have a bit of padding in there for authenticity if you were an actual Viking, because you wouldn't want it going straight to your head if there was an arrow pinging down from your head. And like I say, the shield, ever so slightly, would have more there. Certainly wouldn't make that noise, but the boss is quite a strong one on there. Still stop something, but just not to the same extent. So there you go. Bit of Viking. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy these silly little videos. Bit of education, bit of just fun messing around, running around the garden. I think I petrified my son. He wouldn't come near me whilst we were filming that. But he's okay now. Anyway, stay safe. Hope you're having fun in your gardens and things. Got a few more videos in the garden of different stuffs that you can do whilst at home. I hope you're just keeping occupied. There's lots of things you can do in your own house, so hopefully we'll discover some of those. Ta-ra! Thank you. That's what I wanted. Some rocks. Ah!